So, welcome everybody. It is very exciting for me to see so many people joining us today. I'm going to go through a number of pieces of information related to two programs. So, I'm going to be talking about the Behavioral Science Technician C146 is the program code, as well as the accelerated version of this program, which is C156. These are essentially the same programs, the difference being that the accelerated program is just that. It's accelerated because of the qualifications of the students coming in. So as I'm going through this, the information that I present, you can assume that it applies to both programs unless I specifically break it out. So at the points where I break out to specific programs, that's because the information is specific. Otherwise, it likely applies to all of the programs. So this is me. I'm Laura Pastrick. I am the program coordinator, which means that I liaise with students around the program. Once students are in the program, I assist them moving through the program. I am also faculty. So I do teach courses within the Behavioral Science Technician programs. So today, hopefully, we'll give you enough information that you feel like you have a better grasp of what our programs are about. So I will go over an overview of the programs, admission requirements. We will talk about placements at the college level. I feel that the placements are really beneficial experiences. How can you be successful? Coursework. We do have a degree, so we'll talk about bridging to that, and then we'll take questions. So the BST programs are designed for those who want to enter a helping profession, and the level at which you will be instructed is that you can enter as a frontline professional. Within our field, there are opportunities to move up into more advanced roles where you are supervising. This program is really designed to get you started in the field as a frontline professional. So if you're familiar with applied behavior analysis, or ABA, you'll know that we can work with individuals in a variety of areas. Applied behavior analysis is a very robust science. Behavioral sciences is very robust. It can be used with anyone, and it can also be used with animals. Most of the work, however, in the field is within autism and developmental disabilities. A lot of this has to do with that's where the funding is at this time, but that's not to say that at some point you can't work in another area. So behavioral sciences is all about improving the lives of others through behavior change. And so we focus very much on behavior, the things that people say and do. And the way that we look at changing that is a little bit different than what most people think of when they think of psychology. So we focus on changing the environment, things around the person, in order to change their behavior. So this is not a talk therapy program. What you will be learning is going to lead to some really amazing changes in your life, in the lives of others, but it's not like counseling. So that's one thing that I like to clarify early on, is that if people are looking for like a counseling type program, that's not what we focus on. We do focus on, as I mentioned, applied behavior analysis, or ABA. Another common misconception that has come up when people have asked me about what we do is there's a popular TV show called CSI, and they have a behavior analysis unit. where they do forensic behavior analysis, and they analyze, from what I understand, because I haven't actually seen the show, they analyze the behavior of criminals. So there is forensic behavior analysis. The jobs within that field are very few and far between. So in this program, we don't even talk about forensic behavior analysis, to be honest. The roots of what they do are there, but if that's what you're hoping to get into or hoping to focus on, that won't be representative of what we do in our program. So one part that I find students often have a lot of questions about, understandably, is our placement experiences. So placement is an opportunity for you as students to go out into agencies or organizations that have students or clients that would benefit from, behavioral services. And it gives you hands-on, more real life experiences outside of the classroom. So with our placement experiences, the placement sites are found for students. So we do that. We have a number of agencies and partners that we work with that take our students. So you will not need to find a placement for yourself, and actually you are encouraged that you should not find your own placement. The locations that students might attend vary. So you could be in a school, could be elementary or high school. It could be in a group home. It could be at a treatment center. You could be working in what is known as intensive behavioral intervention, or IBI. We try to give you, as much as we can, a breadth of experiences working with different ages as well. So we aim as much as we can for children, adolescents, and or adults. Because we are a GTA college, our placement sites are primarily within the GTA. There are some instances where we're able to provide placement sites outside of like more formal downtown Toronto. We do have some sites during some placements in places like Halton or Oshawa. One thing I always like to let students know is that during your placement, we do aim to place students as close to their home as possible. However, there's a lot of variability, or there are a lot of variables that impact this. So you may need to travel up to 2 hours one way on transit to your placement. That's not a given, but it's a possibility. So we just like to let you know that up front. In terms of the length of the placements, we do what is called a block placement. So a typical semester is 14 weeks, and we do 7-week placements. So during one half of the semester, you attend a placement for 4 days a week. Typically, this is Tuesday through Friday. And when I say full days, that is whatever is considered a full day for that placement site. So if a school goes from 9 till 3, that might be your day. If another site has different hours, your day might vary. Within that placement, it's a time for you to participate in activities related to whatever the site is that you're attending. There are also assignments related to the placement that you are completing while you're there. The idea is to take what you've learned in the classroom and extend it into the real world, into the placement. So the assignments that you'll be doing extend what you did in the classroom out onto placement. One difference between the two programs is that the C146, the diploma, the 2-year diploma, students in that program have 3 placements, whereas in the accelerated program, the C156, they do 2. And when I get into the course outlines, you'll see where those placements fall. Placements are not only an excellent opportunity to take what you've learned in the classroom and extend it to more real life, but they are also a really valuable experience to gain professional skills. So that is part of what we look at as well, is, you know, being able to have students to extend the skills that they have, reinforce the skills that they have, and also learn some new skills that are going to make them successful in their future careers. Both, you know, the clinical skills, but the professional skills. To qualify for placement experiences, you do need to complete a process called Paramed. That includes some medical requirements, as well as you need to be cleared for a police check in the vulnerable sector. This is because of the clientele that we tend to work with, and the college walks you through this process. So if you come to our program, you will be receiving information about that process. We have a wonderful person who deals with Paramed, so you don't have to worry about figuring that out on your own. We will help you with that, but just wanted to mention it is a requirement. If you don't meet those requirements on time, unfortunately, we can't send you out for your placement. So as a college, George Brown has offered behavioral science programs since 2002. St. Lawrence College up near Kingston was the first. In the GTA, we have been the longest running behavioral science program. So we were the first within the GTA. Your courses are taught by not only full-time faculty, such as myself, but also part-time faculty. And the benefit of part-time faculty really can't be understated. They are still working out in the field within behavioral sciences. So while many of us full-time faculty come with many years of experience, those part-time faculty are still in it currently. And so they can really bring additional up-to-date information. So upon graduation, you would be prepared to work in a variety of frontline field positions. Currently, a lot of them are within what's called the Ontario Autism Program, but it really is expanding out from there. So for the C146 two-year diploma, I can tend to talk in program code, so I'm going to try to keep tying it to which program it is. You do graduate with an Ontario College diploma. It is a full-time program, which means that we don't have the option for you to take it part-time. There is an option to take reduced course load if you require that, and that would be going through our accessible learning services. It's a 2-year 4-semester program, and it runs from September to April. So we are a small program. We tend to only run one cohort, which means that, you know, the fall courses are only offered in the fall and the winter courses only in the winter semester. The benefit, I think, is that you end up entering the program with a cohort, and that cohort, for the most part, those will be your classmates throughout the 2 years. Program intake, we're looking at about 44 domestic students and 10 international. Now with C156, so this is the accelerated program meant for individuals who are coming with a bachelor's degree. You also graduate with an Ontario College diploma. It is also a full-time program. So again, we have one entry in September. One difference is that we do 3 consecutive semesters, which you'll see laid out when we get to the course outline. So you start in September and then you finish in June. So you get your 3 semesters in a row. We are looking at 42 domestic students and 2 international currently. So the admission requirements for the 2-year diploma are an Ontario Secondary School diploma and grade 12 English. Recommended are math and science courses. These are not required. However, we are behavioral sciences, and so having some understanding of how science works, the process of science, the importance of data can help. We'll definitely, if you're not familiar with that, you will definitely get that as well. There is a statistics course, but we focus on concepts as opposed to mathematical application. So having some math can help you, but not required. Everybody worries about the statistics, and at the end they were like, oh, it wasn't so bad. For the C156 Accelerated, I mentioned this program is for students who have completed a 3 or 4 year degree. So this can be a Bachelor's of Arts with a major in psychology, a related discipline, or a Bachelor's of Science. If you did not take a psychology degree or minor, you need to have at least one psychology course. And the reason for that is that it will help give you a foundation for understanding what it is that we're teaching. So how can you be successful in the program? Well, there's a number of ways, and here's a few of them. So most of our work is with individuals with disabilities. If you have familiarity with individuals who have disabilities, that can help, but it is by no means required. We have a lot of students who come in and they've never worked with children before, or they've never worked with an individual with a disability. And you know what? You learn. If you have interest in learning, we will get you there. Familiarity with technology is highly recommended. You will use Blackboard as a learning management system. What we are on right now is part of Blackboard. You'll use Excel, Word, those types of things. You can anticipate approximately 18 hours of class per week. It does ebb and flow depending where you are in your learning, which semester you're in, but to give you a ballpark. And then you can expect to spend about an equal amount of time reading, completing assignments, etc. So, we are a post-secondary. There will be expectations around doing readings before you come into class. That primes you for what you're going to learn in class. And then, of course, there are assignments to complete outside of class. During your placement blocks, as I mentioned, you're on placement 4 days a week. So 1 day a week, you will have one class that tends to run through the 14 weeks. And then there is a seminar for 3 hours a week associated with the placement. And that's really important because it's the time for you to connect. You'll be assigned a faculty supervisor who helps you navigate the placements, marks your assignments, helps you with your assignments, and just generally guides you through that experience. So as in any post-secondary program, the better your time management and study skills, that's always helpful. We do have a student success program for first-year students coming into the 2-year diploma. That program is wonderful as far as I'm concerned. The people who work within that program are very supportive. They help students to acclimate to the post-secondary world. There's a peer leader who is a current student in the same program as you who can help you with study tips and understanding the program and working through assignments. And the faculty are always here to help as well. So, always feel free to reach out to us. Let us know if you're having challenges, if you don't understand something. You know, we're in the helping profession. We want to see students succeed. So another area people are often very curious about, understandably, is the coursework involved. So our courses currently are designed to be primarily face-to-face. That means that you're coming to the campus and interacting within a classroom. I don't know if anybody has been to the Waterfront campus, formerly known as the Daphne Cockrell Center for Health Sciences. I consider myself very lucky to be teaching out of this campus. It's right on the water, and it's, you know, quite beautiful. It's very nice to go out in the nice weather and just take in the water as a break. And we are called the Health Sciences because we also have programs such as nursing and dental, orthotics, variety of programs that run out of that building. So coursework varies. We try to include a variety of different assignments to give you different experiences. Also, certain assignments work better in different formats. So you may have things that you have to do individually. There will be group work within our field. Working within a team is very important. So part of that is the reasoning behind group assignments. There'll be written assignments, presentations, what we call clinical reports. So that's part of that applied portion. Is in the field, we do assessment of behaviors and write assessment reports, and we also write intervention plans. So you would be doing the same things. We are not big on essays. We are not big on like final exams as you would think of them. There are quizzes and tests throughout. There could be role plays for you to demonstrate behaviors that you might have to do on the job. And then each semester is broken into blocks, except for the first semester. But I did some visuals to show this to you. So this will be the C146 two-year diploma. The way that I put these together, as I mentioned, our semesters tend to be 14 weeks of learning. So 7 weeks, and then a intercession break for a week, and then 7 weeks. If on these visuals you see a long line, that means that course runs once a week, and it runs for the entire 14 weeks. So in semester 1, and this is done in part to help with the introduction to post-secondary, all of your classes are 14 weeks. And most of them are once a week. Some might be twice, most are once. So all of these courses listed here, which I'm not going to name them all because that would take too much time. But all these courses here are 14 weeks. The second semester, which starts in January, you will have 3 courses for the first 7 weeks. They typically run twice a week. So we're taking 14 weeks of content and putting it into 7 weeks. And then you will have ethics that runs for all 14 weeks, an elective, and the second 7 weeks is when you do your placement. The thing that says CPI and is in the circle, all of our students take what is called crisis prevention intervention. It is a one-day workshop that we offer at the college, either through intercession or on a weekend. And that's something that's used in the field. You know, we are dealing with behavior, and then sometimes we are dealing with problem behavior. It's designed to help give you some strategies for keeping yourself safe, you know, if those situations arise. So that's why that's just kind of floating there. It's not a regular schedule course. Then when you return for year 2 in the fall, you have 3 courses that are in the first 7 weeks, 1 course that runs throughout the semester, and you do your placement the second 7 weeks. Semester 4 is the same thing, except you only have 2 courses for 7 weeks, one for 14, and then placement. So for C156, you might notice here that it says semester 2 fall. You are technically entering into semester 2, even though it's your semester 1. So you'll see that the registrar calls it semester 2. You're considered to have, completed some of the other prerequisite courses already. So semester 2, you have 3 courses for 14 weeks, and then there's one that runs for 7 weeks. When that one's done, the second 7, there's another course. Your placement is a bit offset on purpose. So in January, you actually start a 7-week placement. You have 1 course that goes from January till April, and intersession is usually the end of February. So March and April, you'll have 3 courses twice a week for 7 weeks. And then the spring semester for C156, which is generally the last week of April, beginning of May, is only 7 weeks. And you complete 1 course that you start in the winter, and you do your final field placement. So in terms of the industry, as I mentioned, you're going to be eligible to work in a variety of frontline positions implementing behavioral programs. We as a field are really working to expand where we are working. It takes some time, but we're hoping to continue to do that. We've expanded a bit more recently into working within gerontology programs. Acquired brain injury is, an option for some, especially if you go on for further education. So behavioral programs, in terms of people who are designing them, so we're aiming to teach you to understand how behavioral programs are put to place, but to be able to implement them. If you wanted to go on to do more of that supervisory designing, you would either need to move on to a bachelor's degree, or there are master's degrees in applied behavior analysis. So as I mentioned at the start, graduates can work in autism therapy, IBI, children's treatment centers, vocational services, public and private schools, group homes. George Brown students are generally seen by our placement partners as being very well prepared to work in the field. We have had students who have gone on to placements and been hired right out of their placements as well. So placement is, I always say, it is like the ultimate job interview, because you really get to show what you're made of. In terms of future study, within George Brown College, we've actually started a Bachelor's of Behavior Analysis honors degree. So people don't always think about colleges as having degrees. We do have one. Once you are done the 2-year diploma, if you have a GPA of 3 or higher, we do have a bridge. So what that means is that you can apply to take some courses over the summer that elevate your learning in certain things to be ready to enter the 3rd year of the degree. And then you complete your 3rd and your 4th year, and you graduate with a degree, which, as I mentioned, can open up some additional employment opportunities. If you're interested in going further into a master's or things like that, that can help you with that as well. Now, I thought I had a slide in here, but I see I'm on the second last one, so I'm guessing that I imagined putting it in, but I will mention it verbally. Some of you, if you've done some research into this, may be familiar with something called the Behavior Certification Board. And Adam, I believe it is www.bacb.com. For those who go on to do a degree, or specifically for those who are taking the C156 program, there are a variety of levels of certification within the BACB. So the C156 program is what's considered a verified course sequence towards becoming a board certified assistant behavior analyst, or CABA. There is more that you have to do. You have to do some supervision hours and you have to write an exam, but this program gives you the coursework towards that. And I apologize, I thought I had put it in the slides with the link, but I can always add it to the chat too, specifically to the BC ABA bit. All right, well, hopefully I didn't talk too fast. It's hard when I'm talking to myself and I can't see the people out there. But we will take questions. This is contact information. So if you have program-specific questions, feel free to email me anytime. I don't deal with like registration and things like that. So those other questions probably better for the admission officer. But program-specific questions, I'm happy to take them now, but also to answer any emails you send if you think of something later.